this is our 2018 call to action. Basically, it just shows what we're up against and what we need to do as per the Refuse Fascism organization. So, Ronnie's going to start us off.
This nightmare must end. The Trump-Pence regime must go. In the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. We are horrified and angered at the shocking damage already done to lives here and around the world by the Trump-Pence regime. We recognize that they are poised to do far worse, including threatening war, even nuclear war. Through an unrelenting barrage of daily outrages and Twitter outbursts, the Trump-Pence regime is radically remaking society. Step by step, they are hammering into place a vicious American fascism. This is not insult or exaggeration, it is what they are doing. Therefore, we resolve that nothing short of removing this whole illegitimate regime from power will stop this nightmare. And there is a way to do this. To do so, we must cast aside illusions and self-delusions.
All right, and I'll take it from there. All too many people think and act as if what we face is just the worst of the pendulum swing between Republicans and Democrats. No, this regime, if left in power, will effect a thoroughly reactionary restructuring of society. If we think that the normal processes of the 2018 or 2020 elections or the Mueller investigation will by themselves redress the situation that humanity faces, we are not understanding the determination of these fascists in power to shatter norms, even though they've been doing so for over a year. If we think that the heightened activism of the past year, either by itself or together with the elections, will stop this regime, we are missing how much harm this regime has already done, absorbing individual protest as it rapidly moves its agenda forward on multiple fronts. If we are not as outraged and motivated to act today as we were right after the election, we are already on our way to accepting a great horror that builds daily. If we adjust to the injustice of this regime, do not ask how the German people could have accepted Nazism in the 1930s. Anyone want to read the American Fascism page?
I will.
All right, Miguel.
In American fascism, we must not reassure ourselves that it could happen here. It is. Trump's Make America Great Again is a 21st century fascist program of manifest destiny. America first, wrapped in the flag and Mike Pence's Bible taken literally, with a program of white supremacy, misogyny, and xenophobia. This regime denies truth and objective evidence, and yet it has its hands on the most powerful military and nuclear arsenal in history and is preparing and threatening to use it. Millions of immigrants live in terror, fearing their loved ones will be ripped away. People's humanity is viciously denied. Women are poised to lose the right to abortion. Trump and Sessions have instructed police to take the gloves off, further brutalizing people of color. LGBTQ rights recently won are under assault. Damage done to the environment by this regime in just 14 months could be irreversible. Fascism rules by organized repression and terror by the government. Civil liberties are stripped away, law rewritten, dissident, criminalized, the courts packed with fascists, and the separation of powers and of the church and state ultimately eviscerated as part of radically remaking society. The Trump-Pence regime must sharply attack those in positions of power who oppose them. Fascism also mobilizes mobs of vicious thugs, as we've seen with Nazis marching and murdering Charlottesville, Virginia.
Anyone else want to continue?
I'll go.
Yeah.
The Trump-Pence regime has not yet been able to implement their full program, but they are advancing. It might only take a single serious crisis, international or domestic, for this regime to drop the hammer. Don't normalize, don't accommodate, don't conciliate, don't collaborate. People all over the world are counting on us to stop this nightmare. The different strains of fascist demagogues and movements in this country see Trump and Pence as their last chance to achieve their reactionary program. They will not listen to facts or reason. They have already and will continue to change rules, manipulate elections, and they will not give up. The Democratic Party leadership will not lead us out of this. They are about maintaining order for their whole setup. For them, order is more important than justice, even if that means the order of fascism. After Trump's election, President Obama said of Trump, "We are all on the same team. We are now all rooting for his success." No. If Trump succeeds, it will be catastrophic.
Yeah, do you want to?
It's up to you.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at?
It's right there.
We need to organize?
No, the light heavy print.
Yeah, look at this tight.
But there is.
Oh, but there is another way, a different kind of protest. We need to organize now for the time when we can launch massive, sustained, nonviolent protests in the streets of the cities and towns across the country. Protests that continue day after day and don't stop, creating the kind of political situation in which the demand that the Trump-Pence regime is removed from power is met. Everyone who recognizes that the Trump-Pence nightmare must end is invited to join in and prepare for launching this great act of sustained resistance. Imagine tens of thousands beginning in several cities and towns with marches, candlelight vigils, rallies, students, religious communities, immigrants, everyone with a heart for humanity in the streets and not backing down, growing from thousands to hundreds of thousands and eventually millions. Our actions will reflect the values of respect for all of humanity and the world we want, in stark contrast to the hate and the bigotry of the Trump-Pence fascist regime. The whole world will take heart. This will shake millions awake, with many losing their adjustments to life under this regime. The international credibility of the regime will be undermined. A determined struggle that doesn't yield and won't be provoked can create a serious political crisis. Those in power, who are themselves now under attack by the regime, but conciliated with it, would be compelled to respond to our struggle from below, leading to a situation where the illegitimate regime is removed from power. This would be hard, but possible. Possible because millions of us feel the horror of the Trump and Pence. Many have righteously protested different outrages, but now we must rise to another level of determined resistance. We must confront the reality that the world as we have known it is being torn asunder. This requires getting out of our comfort zones and not allowing our differences to stand in the way of rising together in an unprecedented, unrelenting mass struggle to confront the danger of a Trump-Pence fascist America.
So I'm gonna read the back page. It's like what we pledged to do. If anyone wants to join in with me, that is awesome. So we pledge that we will not stand aside while there is still a chance to stop a regime that imperils humanity and the earth itself. Join us.
Let's stand together with conviction and courage, overcoming fear and uncertainty, to struggle with all we've got to demand. The Trump-Pence regime must go.
In
In the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America.
This
Nightmare must end. The Trump-Pence regime must go.
Cool.
Sign the call.
Yeah. So,
Donate.
Yeah, sign the
Download
call,
a
you
PDF
can-
of this
you
code.
can do
I'm
that.
sorry.
Yeah, right.
I was thinking, I was reading all of
Twitter,
it.
Instagram, YouTube. But yeah, thank you all for coming out. If you marched, if you stayed here, whatever.